Hello there, outliers. Niiamah here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey today. Uh, we have an incredible roundtable made of four esteemed outlier guests, and I'd love for you to get to know each and every one of them. We're going to be talking today about how we can help you level up your impact and your income in a way that is consistent and aligned with you. Why don't we bring in our guests to really dive in on this? Scott, thanks for being one of the first outliers to dive in on this. Share with us a bit about you and the game you're currently playing.
Yeah, Niiamah, thanks so much for having me on. I'm super excited to be here. So the game I'm playing called Life. Um, to be honest, it is a game, right? Like a lot of the things that we do, I like to treat business and life kind of as a game, but I'm really competing against myself. So I work with coaching clients from all over the world, really kind of hone in on their health, longevity, and just habits and beliefs. And really, I'm sure we'll get into the business aspect of everything, but that's kind of what it all comes down to. At the end of the day, is what's going on in the old noggin.
Thanks, Scott. I'm glad they brought your noggin out here. I'm excited to see what's inside there. Right. Let's go to Hyacinth and then Anu. Hyacinth, do you mind telling
Um,
us about the game you're currently playing?
yes, thank you. Yeah, the game I'm playing is actually probably putting all of my life experiences in my 52 years into practice. So I work with women that have been through a lot of adversity, but I'm really showing them how to align with their self and create the life they want so that then they can go out and do the same for others.
Yeah, I appreciate this element of like bringing it all together. We'll play with that here because, yeah, we'll bring that in. Thank you, Hyacinth. I'm glad you're here. Then Anu and then Joanna.
Yeah, so I like to say like what I'm doing right now is like just kind of what I've been doing like the last, I want to say year or two. Really just about transforming and because we all got these like ideas of what we see ourselves in our mind and what we want to be and what we want to do and shit. And I think like right now it's like it's not so much about going after those things that you want to get, but really seeing and visualizing and see and practicing to know who do you have to be in order to have those things that you want to have. And so I just really been focusing on transformation, releasing limiting beliefs, working on my inner conversations, and trying to share more with the world so they get value out of it. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Thank you, Anu. Glad to have you here. And then Joanna, help us wrap this up here. Let us get to know you and the game you're playing.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Joanna, and the game I'm playing, I think, is one of I know we already use this word, but like it's more about me falling in alignment with my spirit, with the work that I do, and sort of like being very cognizant of the things about myself, my personality, my strengths, my weaknesses that I've been in denial of for a long time. And so, like, no longer denying that, but like really honing in on what my strengths are, leveraging that to build the businesses that I'm running. And so, like, creating a marriage of my skills in my corporate career as well as the business I'm building, which is media and marketing together with a great focus on women, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm appreciative of this, and Joanna, I'm like you said something here. You brought up alignment seems to be coming through, so we're going to play with that a bit here. But you brought up the word denial, and there was something in there that felt really energetic to me. And so, I what I'll do is I'm going to start with you, Joanna, and then we're actually going to work our way backwards. So then I'll go to Anu, then Hyacinth, and then Scott. All right. Like take us here. You mentioned that there were strengths and skills that you had that you were like in denial of, like being able to use for you here. Make it real for us if you don't mind. Share with us like something that you had denied yourself to like bring to the table, and the transformation or the outcomes that started to happen once you allowed more, once you stopped denying it and you allowed it to come and have a seat at the table with you.
Right. So, I'm sure a lot of us have heard leaders aren't born, they're made. And I think that to a great extent, that's true. But I also think that some people just have a natural, like, presence or charisma about them that sort of like makes people think that they know what they're doing, and it implies leadership on them even when they haven't necessarily gone out and sought for it. And I realized, like, for a lot of my life, that this is something that I tend to show up with without intending to. And it's not like there has been a problem with this, but there's this socialization angle, which is like, hey, like, like you might need to like you make other people feel self-conscious. It's like I'm not doing anything with the consciousness of you or how you feel, right? I'm just being, right? And so I sort of like went from like teenagehood to like, becoming a young adult, and then sort of like seeing that, hey, like there's a chance that I was saying this to someone that like there's a thing that happens in group dynamics a lot where people are happy to fall back and allow someone else lead because it just means less strategic thinking for them, but that the result is still achieved in the end. But then there's also a tendency for people to resent you for what they have asked you to do for them that you have now done very well at, right? And so there was that fear that I carried for a long time, which was if I lean into this thing, especially where the social dynamics were one of friendship and have now moved to something project based or work related and stuff like that, then this means I may lose friends or I may lose, like just all of that currency in exchange for leaning into the fact that maybe I'm a natural leader or people think I am, right? And so there was a sort of like hiding my light under a bushel that I was trying to do, but you can only do that for so long. So I think I'm happy to lean into that more now, while I figure out how to sort of balance my social circles. I think I just need to have a space where everyone is equally secure about what they bring to the table rather than I being the only one who, you know, is secure about that. Does that make sense?
Does it make sense? I have a lot of sensations in me here. I'm seeing nodding going around here. Like we can, there's a real thing in here. Like I can only do that, but for so long, outliers.
Mhm.
If you resonate with what Joanna is saying right now, because I'm feeling it, and you find that you're still like hiding your light underneath that bushel, like here goes my invitation is like maybe now has been long enough, and we can go and play from there. All right. Thanks, Joanna. Thanks for bringing this in here. We'll build up on some of these and topics in a bit. Anu, how about you? Like, what's something that you had put in denial, you had put in exile, and what was the consequence or of you bringing that into play now?
Um, well, something I had, put in denial. I kind of like how, Joanna said it. Pretty much, I always try to be that guy that try to be the, dude in the background. Just okay. I let these other guys lead. I'll be the supporting character. And no matter what I do, it just seemed like the attention would always be back on me. People would always look at me. Whether we was doing some like important shit in school, or we were doing some business wise, or if I was even dancing on the dance floor, people were looking at me to see, what is he gonna do? What are we gonna do? And I guess I didn't really want to be that leader because I felt like it was too much pressure. It was too much, tension. But after a while, you're gonna keep putting yourself in situations where you're gonna realize that if people are looking at you, they need somebody to be a light for them. So that's something I had to kind of like put myself out there to do more and to be a voice because my people, they need something right now. Especially I feel like here in America, we have so much illusions and facade and imagery that's getting put out about certain people and certain ideologies, and so we need somebody who has a good head on their shoulders to let you know, like, hey, this is what's really going on. Like what they're showing you on the media or the TV or on the Instagram, like that's social media. That's one thing. But over here, like we're real people and we have real things that we're doing. And so, I believe that me having to find my voice and being able to share that with other people, I think that's what I'm here for. And like I have a lot of people looking at me right now, so I'm just really, really grateful that I stopped denying myself and that just showed up as who I am. Hey, I might not do it perfectly, but I'm here. I showed up. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Thanks. I like we'll be exploring that whole element of like I may not even be doing it perfectly, but I'm showing up here, and that the we will. I want to say more, but first I'm gonna let Hyacinth come in. Like sometimes I have to hold myself back in. I'm like, oh, I want to go, but like, I want to get put everyone into this space first, and then we'll go from there. So Hyacinth, let's come to you on this here. Like, how about you? What resonated with you around something that like you used to deny and that you brought out of exile to help, you accomplish what you accomplished now.
I think actually, probably denying, yeah, showing the whole of me, not really shining the light, but actually showing, because I think, especially when I first started my business, because I wanted to appear so business minded, and I really, my mind wasn't in the bit, wasn't in business, because there was lots of issues around confidence and self-doubt when I started. I was only showing aspects of myself, and also I was really resistant to things like social media. There was none of that before my business. Nothing was there. I was like somebody who wasn't there. So having to show all of me, especially like I'd say the more spiritual side, the side of me that can channel, that speaks to people that are no longer here, all of the things I've had since a child was being hidden, because obviously I want to fit in this business box, but I'm a creative first and foremost before the business. So that's been the thing I was denying. And now I think I've got to this age, and probably in the same as Anu the last year. And I just thought, oh my God, I'm 52 now. It's time to integrate it all, because there's no point in having aspects. People are getting transformations, but they're going to get more, or they do, when I work privately with them, and they see all of me and I allow them to be all of them, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like so. Anytime someone, just so you know, an outlier, you might hear me say this here. Anytime someone says, "Does that if that makes sense?" One, I know, like as you're talking, I'm thinking of other people in my world who I'm like, oh yeah, they need to hear Hyacinth's message, right? I've met people who have so many more skills, like and tools and resources available for them. Like I don't even know how to talk about it because like I don't actually have access to it. But it's a weird thing in this world where we can feel like because we're so much, we're also not enough, you know. And so yeah, I'm hyped as I hear this, and I'm listening. I'm hoping that any outlier out there that has like skills that go beyond the conventional, that they also bring that into the world. Because from my perspective, Hyacinth, like what you're describing is actually very common, or more common than I would think. Until I had opened it up. So I'm really glad that you brought this in. Thank you. Scott. Why don't you share with us? Like, I'd like to go with this first question, give everyone a chance to answer it. And then afterwards, it's going to be a lot more flowy. So Scott, tell us for you, like, what's something you held in denial or exile, and what did you bring into, and how did that change things for you?
Yeah. First, thanks for letting me answer. If you went to a different question, I'd be like, I was kind of brainstorming ideas. I had my answer planned out, right? But yeah, I did want to kind of hop off what Hyacinth said is like, if you can be yourself, you allow other people a safe space to be themselves. And that was one of the biggest things for me is like, I will be very honest about this with denial and fear is that being a man, we're taught you don't have trauma, you don't have pain, you don't have troubles. And to talk about it makes you appear or seem weak, and you're not allowed to do that. So that was one of the biggest things I denied myself. I remember listening to Peter Attia, big guy, talks about health, great book named Outlive, highly recommend it. But he was talking about experiencing trauma and how it was just kind of playing in the background of his head his whole life, but he was just in denial of it. Right. So I got to a point when COVID hit that I had to kind of stop traveling the world, and I had to look and face that. And I was like, oof, I either turn around and face the fire, or I just kind of keep running away from it. So that was one thing. Really, for any outlier who wants to be a little bit different, I think first you really have to kind of look back at those balls and chains that are kind of like those weights that are holding you back. And yeah, that's a little bit of trauma, whether it's big or small. We all have a little bit of something back there that's worth looking into. And if you can kind of solve that, I don't want to say heal it, but if you can kind of solve that and figure out what it means for you, be yourself, and then you allow a space for everybody else who listens to you, and you can be a leader and they can listen to you and feel safe.
Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing that in, Scott. Like, yeah, we're gonna continue the conversation from here on out. Like, just if you have something to say, please unmute. Like, let's keep the conversation flowing. I want to give outliers a chance to hear from each of you first. So I'm hearing a lot here around a couple different things. One of them being like, uh, in my mind, it's like stepping into your rightful place is what comes in, and I hear it with like a James Earl Jones voice, where it's like it's not just like it's like, and now it is time for you to share all of your light and step into your rightful place. And I like to like bring some elements of this to the table here, whether it's showing your light, whether it's shining the light, whether it's recognizing that you're like you can't help but be the leader, but then and leaning into it. If you can talk here about for yourself, what changed for you once you, I'll use the language here of stepping into your rightful place. Well, once you just like allowed yourself to be, once you stopped being in that space of denial and you moved into more of a place of alignment, what changed for you? Hyacinth, I'm really drawn to the story you had said, because you're like, I'm 52, like let's bring this all together. And you actually said it's time to integrate it all. That struck me really strongly. So would you mind just sharing a bit about like what changed for you at that point?
I think Joanna was saying part of it, when you're hiding parts of yourself, it gets to a point where it's really tiring. Um, for me, I felt like, because I'm dealing with women who've been through a lot of adversity, there's no point in me hiding what I'm going through. I don't care what the coaches say, because they usually say to you, don't show your trauma, don't be vulnerable, all of that stuff. I share all of that with my clients so that they know actually that change is possible, because a lot of the time, if we look at all of our stories, sometimes some of us are not supposed to even be here, and we're certainly not supposed to be here doing the work we're doing and supporting others to do the work. And for me, I've always wanted to create a movement. From the age of 15, I started working in the community because life was really traumatic. And so for me, getting away from that trauma was to create something easier for some others in the community. And so I just thought, yeah, it's time. It really feels like it is the time. It's really hard to describe, but when it's the time, you can't keep running away from it or showing parts of it. It's actually like, take me or leave me. And yeah, just trust in that. The people that no longer either follow you, or the friends that you've had that were fantastic at the time, but you're no longer with them still, it's time to kind of move. And you're moving because you know you're not doing anything. Everything I do is for the highest good. So everything is leading me to where I need to be. And it's just that trust, I think, now.
You're saying a lot of things that I believe. Everything's my highest. All my highest good. I always say that.
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on it?
Oh, I thought I was muted. Y'all heard me. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
no, we
much.
heard you on it. Like,
Yeah.
like
No.
we said show your light. Now we're saying like let your voice be heard. Right?
Right.
Go ahead,
I
Ani.
mean, no, I was saying like she said a lot of things that I believe. I believe all is for my highest good. I say that to myself all the time. All is for my highest good. All is for my highest good. Because to be honest with you, I meet a lot of different people and they always say like, oh, I knew, you seem like really chill. Like you seem like you had a really, good childhood or whatever. And I'm like, I wouldn't say all that, but I take it as a compliment because it shows me that the work that I've done on myself is shining through. Yeah, we all have things that happen to us. Yeah, we all have trauma. Yeah, we all have things. I'm not diminishing any of those things. I'm not saying it's lower or anything, but I'm saying that how long are we going to take this stuff with us, to the future? How many years? To 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60. There's certain people that's 70 years old and they still talk about things that happened in third grade or fourth grade or back in, high school. This person did this and they couldn't, let it go. So part of my transformation was to realize if we wanted to reach another level, we had to let go of those things from the past levels. You can't say you want to be this, but if you're still holding on to something that someone did to you over here. So now, part of my beliefs is all is my highest good. I'm getting better and better every day in every way. My life is getting better and better every day in every way. And I've been saying these things for like months, days, and years. And eventually, you start seeing these examples of how this is actually going on. And I'm just really grateful. And I'm really, grateful to be in a space like this where I can share. And now I know I'm at a point where I feel really good to share more of my light. And I'm happy to see people doing that, like you guys,
I appreciate you. I like that you brought in gratitude here. You said being really grateful. There's things I want to like keep expanding on it. Scott, before I go into expanding on that, is there anything that either Hyacinth or Anu has said that's really resonated with you that you want to touch on?
Yeah, absolutely. There are quite a few things, but I'll just pick two. First with Isaac. The fact that you have to kind of let go of people from the past. Like when you change, it's amazing what happens of like you're gonna have to leave some friends, maybe even family behind. And it's one of the hardest things, really. I used to personally drink a lot. We go to the bar, and then when I started changing, right, like just they couldn't understand. Like, why don't you want to go out? Why don't you want to drink? And then I try to hang out and then like not drinking and things like that. And it was just this weird, uncomfortable situation. And I realized like to be a different person, you have to be a different person. So that was one real big realization. And yeah, the other part was this part about like I don't want to say visualizing. I know that's like a touchy subject or like sitting and visualizing things, but it's one of the most powerful things of like just you can either repeat the phrases to yourself, you can visualize it, and then it starts to appear. But really, it's just your thoughts, right? Like your brain is so powerful. And I've just learned that this is a supercomputer. And if you could just put the program in there and just you could do it whatever way you want to, I don't care. But it works. It's so true, and then you'll start to see new opportunities and you'll say yes, and then you'll be like, oh, this where I'm so lucky, how did this opportunity come? It's just because you every day you just visualize it, you feel the emotion, and you kind of let it happen, and then you're ready for it. I think somebody here mentioned that too before of like you can't have all these good things happen to you and you're not ready for it. Like so many people want money and success and be a leader, but they're not ready. They're not built for it. They're not that person yet, right? So for me, call it whatever you will, visualization, repetition of phrases and all those things. I love it. It works. Find the way that works for you and it'll find its way to you.
So I'm having fun here, and if y'all will allow it for it, I'm gonna play a little bit. And this is yeah, so outliers minute this year. One of the things you should get about me is that I don't like to talk about things in theory. Like everything for me is a living playground of more and more experience. And so in this case, we might lose outliers because Niiamah's changing things here, but I'm going to go with it. I'd like to introduce a new segment in this conversation. And this segment it's the first time it's ever happening. And the segment is called What Scott Doesn't Want to Say. Scott, like you can choose to play or not, but it like I found myself getting tickled because you've said about twice in this conversation, like I don't know if I should say it this way or I don't know, like and like it ended up being like it was like I was like oh he's about to drop something I should have screened or whatever. He's like visualization. I was like, what? Like, so, so like when I hear that, I'm like, oh, we might still just be getting a part of like all that Scott could bring out here. So if you're down to play, Scott, and then we'll see where it goes from here. But we'll play in this segment. Um, what's something that you wouldn't normally say? What's something that you wouldn't like that you might normally go and put a caveat around it? Can you just like share without I don't even know if it's going to be built on. We might be just done right afterwards. But can you just share something here? Because I feel like it will give outliers a really awesome opportunity to just to really see and experience you. What's something that comes to heart for you?
Along the visualization front, I think, yeah, just maybe that admitting to the fact that it works. And it's so simple and surprising, right? Like it's just visualization, sitting in a chair, night after night after night. And just for me, the perfect example is last year living in South America. I literally visualized on my computer, sitting on a beach in Brazil, and it happened. Like the exact thing happened. I saw the same people that like visualized and saw, and like I felt the emotions that I felt. And yeah, um, playing around with that has been a really interesting experience for me and just so different than the norm. My brain is very analytical. I like to think through processes like it's very real. It's based on experiential information. And that was one of the first times where I went into like trying this new technique. And yeah, for me, it was so powerful. Because again, like I knew I tried repeating all the phrases and things like that. And it's just, I have post-its still on my wall, but they didn't really work or stick for me. But yeah, that visualization technique was one of those things that I still feel a little awkward talking just night after night after night, and I still come back to it once in a while when I want something. And powerful.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, so Scott, my invitation for you is in this conversation, please, like, if there's an awkward answer, that like if there's something that makes you feel awkward, can you please go choose that one to say? I'm really just really curious about what will come up. And the more time
Sure.
I spend with you, the more that I'm like, oh, I like the way you think. I like seeing more here. Um, Hyacinth, I'm going to come to you because I'm tickled here. And Scott, thank you so much for playing. Like literally, that just came to me here. I was like, I wonder what this could be like. Outliers. One of the things that happens in these conversations, I don't give too many people, I don't give like a lot of direction before because like it's an experience. The like what we're doing here. We're creating something together. It's a co-created experience here. Um, and you'll find that what is also happens is that I'm always paying attention to what people say. It's like the words we use shape the way that we like they give an indication of how we see our world. All right. And so right now I was playing right now with Scott here. I'm going to play a little bit more as this conversation, but even just using the word play, like that was like to the point of like I should be seen as a serious business person. I should like, can someone trust me with their livelihood, to come in here and I'm over here talking about play and games and so on and so forth. Like it was real, like it was a real mountain to climb. And so, Hyacinth, I want to come to you because you kind of opened the door a little bit on some of that elements there, where you're like, look, I have gifts that go beyond what most people experience. Tell me here from your standpoint. You're like, I'm bringing all of it. It's time to integrate it all. Uh, First, I just want to see like if you had like I saw you smiling a bit when I was talking to Scott. I wanted to see if you have anything you want to say related to that. And then the next part here is like you're living this. You're living the living out loud of who you are. And I was wondering if you can just speak a little bit more to any outlier who is on the verge or maybe thinks that they are about how they can like step in and just allow more of who they are first to come through. Let me know if that was too complicated of a question because I can reframe.
No, that's okay. No, I was just smiling because I was just really enjoying what Scott was saying, actually. But to add to it, no, you've just given me that other question. And before I forget it,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, I think, I don't know, you get to, because I use a lot of intuition. So even when you reached out, I thought, oh my God, you get so many different people that contact you. But because I use intuition, and I'm kind of scared to say that word, when you're
Mhm.
with people and if you are reading people, I feel people. So even though we're on the computer, I still am feeling you. But when I'm actually with clients or others, I feel them in a way that I know what to say or how to help. So everything is really bespoke. So for me, I really had to trust that my intuition, that's always been strong since a child, is not only useful in what I'm doing and how I'm living my life, but it's relevant, because actually trying to put it away and get into business books and business minds is, I think, why I felt like so fragmented. I literally felt like a, probably sounds bizarre to say, but a walking puzzle where you're not all fit together. And then how can I bring everything to people as well if I've got those parts missing? So I think it's, yeah, just been about trust and intuition, just bringing it all together.
Yeah. Look, I appreciate y'all so much here. Um, the reason I'm going to say I appreciate y'all is because like you're saying the things that sound bizarre to say. You're saying the things that like you're like, should I really put this out here? Like I want to give space to this and keep shining a light on it. Like Audrey said something, it made perfect sense in the conversation. It's like, oh, I wasn't muted, you know? Like there's something here about like giving your voice and like letting it be out here. Like there, I thought the theme here would be about alignment, but like this is the through line for me right now. This is the through line here around like, and it's I think the thing about it is like how um I'm gonna use the word insidious. It's not really what I mean. It's very subtle. There it is. How subtle it is of these small ways that from where I'm sitting, like we make ourselves more palatable for people. And there's a component of this year where I'm like, yo, we can bring it. You know, I have my friends and peers who are witches or like they're shaman or like they do like new age like there's so much room that's here, not just in this space, right? But out in the world. And I think outliers, like now I'm going to talk to you. Like if you're thinking that the world can't handle you, my thing is like, try it, try them, let them see. Like give him that chance here. I'm having fun with this. Like all I want to do is just like I'm like, what are all the things you don't want to say? Like I'm really curious. But I like as much like and it's only because I mean this is a safe but brave zone, right? It's a place like why not play? Scott, I think I saw something from you here. Unmute. My invitation for the rest of this conversation, we're going to talk for about 10 more minutes, is stay unmuted. That way we could just let like whatever comes out. So feel free, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's a big one for me, and I think that's really the baseline for everybody right now is I've done a lot of research and talking into this is that we don't know who we are anymore. And if you don't know that, you cannot step into who you are and your weirdness and your flaws and your strange whatever. We're not all super weird. We're outliers, right? Like there are different things. We have flaws, we have kind of weird quirks and weird thoughts, and we just think we're so different. And a lot of us are, and a lot of us aren't, right? We have the same kind of problems. But I think the biggest issue today is we're so distracted. We're on our computers, we're distracted by our phones. Anytime we get bored, we go on our phone. And if you do that, you can't process the emotions and figure out who you are. And if you cannot do that, you are impossibly lost. And you mentioned being lonely. And I think that's why so many people, especially outliers, are lonely, is that too distracted to figure out who they are and kind of admit to the flaws. And I just kind of wrote down one thing that's helped me is like this 30-30-30. So I make content online. And when I first started doing it, I had this one video go viral, and some people were so brutal. I was chewing gum in the video and I didn't realize it. And some people were so rude and some people were so nice. Like one message sticks out was like, oh, your message is so great. It's sad that people are missing it because they're focused on the gum. And then I just realized there's going to be 30% of people that love you. There's going to be 30% of people that just don't give a shit. Like they have no idea who you are. And then there are going to be 30% of people who just kind of hate you. And that's it. And that's just really how it works. And if you can kind of accept that, because Hyacinth, you were talking about stepping into your own. And like, if you do that, then you will attract people who are like you or need your advice or life experience.
Yeah, it's true. Sorry, I don't know if we was pausing there, but it is true because I think what we tried when we're trying to fit in, we actually miss out on so much of life, I feel, because we're so preoccupied with these things like what do we look like? What does it look like? How do we compare to that person? And even when you said at the beginning of the conversation, because I'm only comparing myself to myself, I mean, that took me years because as a not, well, definitely not confident child, probably up until about realistically the age of 34, when I had my youngest sons and they were very sick, so I had to be assertive. That's when I really started to step more into my power and also into my authenticity. And it was very surprising because when you're used to not really speaking up, but you observe a lot. And also I write, I love writing. So I've been a writer since I'm a young child and I write poetry. So if I don't want to say things, I used to write it down and no one's going to read it because, you know, that volume of the unpublished stuff is there hidden. Um, yeah, you end up living this kind of parallel life. Like you're walking, it's really strange, but I'm just glad it's at the point where I feel like, especially since 2020, people are really starting to wake up to themselves and really wanting to be authentic and actually question what that is.
Yeah, just a quick note on that is I think so many people in 2020 got to see some of themselves and they like wanted to start showing themselves. But I think just like COVID, like reality hit, and then everybody kind of went back. Like we all forgot COVID happened, and I think a lot of people forgot like their authentic self already. It happens so quickly. If you don't, it's so easy to hide, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I know I did that. And just one other note is I'm 41, and it didn't happen for me until about like 36, 37, where like, whoa, this isn't the life I want to live. This isn't who I want to be. Like, I better figure this out now. So to anyone out there who's listening, who is a little bit older, it's not too late. It really is the best time right now.
I'm curious for you, but what's flowing through you right now?
Yeah, man, I'm just I'm just taking it in. You know, they say that we think in pictures, so it's like as you guys talking, I'm like, oh, this. Okay, Scott said this. Okay, wow, I like her shirt. What is that jewelry? Is that some shells on her? You know, what is that? And I'm thinking, I'm thinking all kind of things going to my mind. But yeah, right now it's like, I read something or I saw something the other day where it said, you know, it said, what do you think our highest, vibration is, or what do you think the highest vibration or highest emotion for us? And it says, most people think that, oh, it's
Sure.
love. And love is up there, but he said one emotion, one thing that's higher than that is authenticity. So when you're authentic, for some reason, the vibration is really, really high, and it just reminds me of when I would go out and do like field work, or I would go, I used to do. I had social anxiety disorder. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with that. So things I used to do when I was younger is I would go to campuses back in California, and I would just go and talk to girls. Like I didn't go to the schools, I didn't none of that, but I would just go and talk to the girls just to work on it, work on it, work on it, work on it. And I remember some of the, in the future when you're meeting other people, when you're talking to other people, you realize like, when there's a pattern of things they say, and one thing that a lot of the girls would say is they'd be like, oh man, like I don't know why, but like I'm glad you came and talked to me. She's like, I ain't talked to anyone like really in like the last couple of days, like not like this, or you're so easy to talk to. And I was like, damn, like this is all this is all it took, just approaching a chick that, you would think that she wouldn't want to talk, but she's like totally opened up as soon as you said something to her. Then you start thinking about other things that you can do, or how this person can be a friend, how you can be cool. And I think that we're all like, we're connected, but we're all disconnected at the same time. Like a lot of people are really afraid of being alone. Like I coach guys with as far as like dating as well, like dating coach. And a lot of these guys tell me that what they really want in a woman is because they're afraid of being alone. And I say to myself all the time, I say, man, if you're afraid of being alone, and you're not comfortable just being by yourself as a man, and if you don't like yourself, like what makes you think that she's gonna like you? You know what I'm saying? What makes you think that she's gonna want to be around you? If you're not comfortable just being by yourself, that means you're trying to get that joy and that sense of belongingness from her. And it's always going to be a grabbing thing. Once she's not there, it's going to be gone. So you have to realize, sit with yourself and meditate. I practice Sanatana Dharma, which is, also known as Hinduism. And one thing that we always say is, meditate, sit with yourself. If you don't want to call it meditating or whatever, just sit with yourself. Breathe, focus on your own inner thoughts, your own inner emotions. And when you find out what you're feeling, any type of emotions that's telling that you're not okay with being by yourself, they will eventually go on by themselves once you are able to sit with yourself. And once I was able to start doing that, then I realized I really enjoy and I really appreciate being by myself. It's like I love having women around. I like being around some women. Or I like having my friends around and they're dope. But at a certain time, I'm like, hey, now I'm gonna go into me time. I'm gonna watch some anime. I'm gonna eat my favorite snacks. I'm about to watch some self-development videos. I'm about to continue writing. I do, she said she does a lot of writing. I do a lot of writing too, for years, notebooks on notebooks. And I feel like constantly getting better and better for myself was just for myself at one point. But then I was like, if I can become the best version of myself, I can show other people that they're able to do it too. Because from the place that I've came from, I came from all different types of situations, but I make sure I don't allow it to be seen on my face. I'm always walking with that twinge in my eye, with that joy. Like, okay, tomorrow's gonna be better. Tomorrow's gonna be better. Tomorrow's gonna be better. And I'm just really, like I said, I'm really grateful to be here. And if we keep on focusing on where we want to be at, while at the same time enjoying where we are, we're gonna wake up one day and be like, wow, I was just thinking about being here. Just like he said, I was thinking about being in South America. We're all visualizing this stuff, but it's just became really popular nowadays where it's like, okay, this is visualized, it's a thing now, but don't even think of it like that. You're always visualizing, everyone's visualizing. You're like, okay, what I'm gonna eat in a little, oh, and you go back to this. What am I gonna do that? Okay, you get back to that. It happens effortlessly. So when we try to consciously do it, we get in our own way sometimes. So it's just
I
something to keep in
appreciate that,
mind.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I look, I appreciate all of you. Somehow we've come to the top of the hour. And so what I want to do is give you each a chance to just share a bit. We're going to wrap up our conversation right here. Share a bit about how outliers can continue down the path with you all, right? I want to say you've been exceptional in what you've shared so far. We'll wrap up with saying like, hey, outliers, we want to continue down the path. This is how you can do it. And then we also like to include like an insight. So if you have the time to stick around for just to share one insight that you got, we've shared a lot out there with outliers here today. Curious about like some that like a takeaway you're going to take from this conversation. And if you don't have a takeaway, that's fine too. But I want to put that into the space here. So can we start with you, Hyacinth? And then we'll go to Scott and then Anu, and then we'll wrap up for today. How they can continue down the path with you, and then an insight you have.
Oh, thank you. This is yeah, it's gone really fast. I had to look at my clock because I thought, no, it can't be. It has. People can find me on social media, but as Anu said, I'm actually sitting with myself. So I am not doing any client-facing work until January, just so that I can regroup myself and kind of refigure. But the takeaway for me is it doesn't matter how far you are, even before this, I was quite fearful again. To people I don't know, what am I doing? Maybe I should cancel. And this has been fantastic. So it's been really nice to connect at like a short space of time, but with really like-minded individuals, actually. Yeah, and there's a motto that I always say to people, which is, we're not victims of our circumstances, we're soul conscious creators of our future. So yeah, I just want people to remember that.
Thank you, Hyacinth. And outliers, if you're listening to this after 2024, this was January of 2025. If you're listening to this in the future, Hyacinth might just be open right now. So make sure to reach out. Scott, how about you?
Okay. Yeah, I just want to piggyback off that. Really, this is what it's like when you meet like-minded people and you get along and you know, you don't agree with every single little point or you haven't done every single little point, but there's still this connection of like an understanding, right? And I love this kind of stuff. These conversations are great. You can find me at Scott, SCOTTR, Nicoll, NICOLL, anywhere. .com. That's my website. I write a lot there, so you can find it there. It's on all the handles. I just kind of post some stuff. I'm not great at social media yet, but I will be. Firing on all cylinders, trying to help people, more people, and take different steps. And I will give one practical insight because I think there's a lot we could say about like mindset and, you know, just think this or that, but really sleep 8 hours, go to bed at around the same time and wake up around the same time every single morning and exercise every single day, even if it's for 10 minutes. Get up and move, go for a walk, and try to eat as healthy as you can, not too much sugar, avoid processed foods. And that's it.
That was a big one thing there, Scott. So I appreciate you on
Yes, yeah, yeah. I tend to do that.
All right, Anu. Thank you so much. Like, let us know for you, and then we'll be closing for today. So, how can people stay in your world, and then an insight you got from today?
Yeah, you can stay connected with me with tap into anusupreme.com. Under construction right now, but you'll be there by the time this is up. Anu Supreme, everything, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, everything, Facebook. And an insight I'd like to give, pardon, is just do it.
What's something that changed for you, Anu? What's something that changed for you?
I would say something that changed for me as far as what?
Like a takeaway you're leaving this conversation with.
That there's a lot of like-minded people, and there's people that's doing, a lot of things like I'm doing. Like I hear Scott, all those things that Scott just said to do, it's like all those things that I'm doing already, and it's like I know I'm on the right path, and I feel like if we keep creating content like this and we keep sharing, showing other people what we're doing, the world is going to be a much, much better place. Arnold Schwarzenegger said, he said, work hard and advertise it. And that's what we're doing.
There we go. There we go. Well, thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for giving us a chance to see you and to shine. Thank you for not holding back your lights, and just know that I really appreciate you. I appreciate the game that you play. And I'll say this to outliers. Until the next time we talk, remember, be you on purpose. Journey on.